Hi guys, coming up on today's wrestling news, AEW's Tony Khan has been named Wrestling Booker of the Year.
We've got news about WWE on Peacock launch concerns.
EC3 has officially signed with Ring of Honor.
And John Moxley shoots on violent match critics. I'm Adam Nicholas, filling in for Andy Murray.
I'm Adam Wilborn, and this is the news. It's all topsy-turvy today with no Andy Murray, but let's start with that lead story regarding Tony Khan and the Wrestling Observer Newsletter Awards. They've just come out in today's Wrestling Observer. They were voted on by Wrestling Observer fans, and it's pretty much a clean sweep for AEW with some of the bigger awards. You got John Moxley winning Wrestler of the Year. You got Kenny Omega winning Most Outstanding Wrestler. The Young Bucks Tag Team of the Year. AEW Promotion of the Year. The Bucks versus Page and Omega from Revolution last year, of course. Match of the Year. Well deserved, that one, in my opinion. Definitely. And Tony Khan has been named a king. Booker of the Year and Promoter of the Year. It was a landslide for both of those categories, to be perfectly honest. Booker of the Year, Gedo of New Japan, and Nosawa Rongai, I believe, of Pro Wrestling Noah in third place. And in terms of Promoter of the Year, again, just a massive victory. Dana White way down in second place, and Sanshiro Takagi in third. There's accusations that, Meltzer and maybe the people who read the Wrestling Observer are slightly biased towards AEW, but I don't think you can really argue with many of these, can you, Adam Nicholas?
I think you probably find it quite difficult to. I mean, I know it's a great narrative. Dave Meltzer is an agent for AEW. Whatever way you want to paint this, come on. Just, whether you like the brand of WWE or whether you like the brand of AEW, if you like wrestling and you've been watching AEW, actually watching it with a fair and honest eye, these aren't a surprise to anybody. The quality of stuff they've been doing is right at the top of the game right now, especially for a company so young. No arguments from me, Chef.
Yeah, the storylines I think have been far and away better than WWE and New Japan. It was 2020 was an incredibly difficult year, no doubt, for wrestling bookers, wrestling promoters. That I think AEW have managed the best out of everything. And let's not forget, WWE didn't miss out either. They got worst television show for Monday Night Raw. They got most disgusting promotional tactic. And hey, Pat McAfee, quite rightly, I believe, won Rookie of the Year. He was one of the few shining lights in WWE in 2020.
Well, there you go. I mean, there is justice after all, and shock horror, one of the few positive accolades for WWE coming from an NXT branded event. So, hey, what can you do? Look, at the end of the day, AEW have been putting out quality stuff there, and how many times have you watched it where you've already assumed that stuff isn't going to pay off, and then you remember you're watching a show that actually delivers upon long-term storytelling and things like that. Look, people are going to moan about this regardless, but I think a lot of these are more than justified.
Yes, have your arguments in the comment section. There you go.
Yes, please do. But moving across to WWE now, from AEW and all of their accolades, I guess, we want to talk about the launch that they're going to be doing on Peacock soon. Of course, they have moved, the WWE network is moving across to there. It's been a very exciting time and there's lots of money going around, but with lots of money comes lots of concern. Of course, you want a high quality product. Think about how important the WWE network has been to WWE recently, in particular in these current times. But according to the Wrestling Observer, yes, this is a news all from the Wrestling Observer today, pretty much. There are concerns because of the actual product that Peacock offer. Now, I'll just read the quote here. But in terms of actual live streaming and stuff like that from Peacock, it says, "It's been noted to us that Peacock is now well suited for live sports, and at least first, that will be the case with WWE as well. One person noted to us, however, their EPL coverage, the English Premier League, is not good, since if you watch it live, it has to be live and you can't join in at the start and start at the beginning, or pause or rewind during that live broadcast. The service has also had issues with getting replays up in a timely fashion. Sometimes they're immediate once the game is over, and sometimes it takes hours, which obviously wrestling fans and any fans of anything hate altogether. Also, originally I was told your WWE Network account would transfer over, but now it appears you will have to sign up with a Peacock one to move your account over," which again, I know that sounds like a real first world problem, but these are the types of little inconveniences that will put people off. They're going to annoy people, and in particular though, yes, the account thing isn't great. The live streaming stuff though, Mr. Wilborn, is that's where you win and lose this, because if you can't go back and jump in at the start, people are surely going to delay watching things, right?
Yes, exactly, and it's all understandable and obviously linked to why WWE have just brought back Fastlane this year. They may as well call it the WrestleMania Dry Run pay-per-view.
Yeah, pretty much.
I believe Hamlet in our work chat about this compared this to sort of NXT Arrival when they had the network starting up. It's been too many years, I can't remember what that was like. But I suppose in WWE's, not in their defence, but their ready-made excuse is just going to be, well, it's not our problem. It's Peacock. Like they've already cashed the check. I suppose it's in a way it's not beneficial, but it's nice to be an international viewer because we're just presumably just going to be sticking with the network. Obviously, the benefit for American viewers is a discounted viewing experience on Peacock. Out of everything, like you say, the ability to not go back to the beginning, that's annoying. The lack of a quick upload post pay-per-view or whatever it may be is bad. But that pausing and rewinding thing, that'd drive me up the wall if I wasn't able to do that.
How are we going to get the screenshots we need for the content? Well, that sounds like a problem for all the American viewers because we're going to be fine, fingers crossed, over in the UK. Please, Peacock, leave us alone. Leave us alone, God damn it.
Vince McMahon using one of Adam Nicholas's favourite catchphrases. That sounds like a you problem, pal.
Amen to that. Oh,
right, let's move on and talk about EC3. A story not from the Wrestling Observer. See, we mix it up sometimes.
Hey.
This one coming out regarding him signing with Ring of Honor. He obviously had that brief stint in Impact after leaving WWE. He's had this feud, or set up this feud in Ring of Honor with Jay Briscoe. That had issues with the ongoing Global Bastard, because of course everything in wrestling has over the last 12 months or so. But yeah, despite the initial report that he was going to be departing Ring of Honor following Final Battle, he's now officially signed with the promotion, and I think this is probably the right direction for him. I enjoyed the brief thing he did in Impact, but this feels like the best place for him, and an exciting time for someone who is so underutilized, certainly on the main roster in WWE.
Yeah, I think we can all agree he had a bit of a terrible run in WWE. Second run as well, unfortunately, which I think a lot of people had high hopes. I mean, the guy in terms of in-ring isn't really my personal cup of tea, but he looked like he was tailor-made to be everything you'd want from a sports entertainer in WWE. Wasn't the case, and the only real thing I ever remember now about EC3's run, aside from that little interaction with Dean Ambrose and EC3 and EC1 and 2 that he mentioned, is that picture of him with the cup, the sad picture of him with the cup at the party, and just really looking like he's having the worst time, which I guess works. Hey, I think in terms of where he should be right now, maybe this is it, because you look at Impact, they're doing a lot of stuff already. They've kind of got their own regime going on there, and they're doing pretty good. AEW, I'm not sure if there's a spot there for him just yet. I feel like if I'm EC3 right now, going to Ring of Honor somewhere of that nature is going to give you the chance to really prove that you can still do this, because I imagine he's got lots of doubters, but anybody who's watched anything that he's done post WWE in terms of creatively on his Twitter and stuff, you can see the guy's got loads of ideas. The guy is brimming with stuff, and he wants to prove himself once again, and maybe, just maybe, Ring of Honor will be the place for that to happen.
Yeah, and I'm not suggesting he should leave Ring of Honor anytime soon, but like you say, it's a great place to re-establish himself. Yeah. Working with someone like Jay Briscoe is really exciting, and if and when he decides to move on, I think they're going to have a real battle between potentially AEW and WWE. Maybe it'll be third time lucky in WWE. Maybe they'll finally realise what they've got. Or maybe he'll go, no, you've had your chance, I'm going to AEW. But yeah, exciting times, and best luck to him, because I think he's really been underutilised on many occasions, and like you say, hopefully he can show what he can do.
Absolutely. Whatever you do, EC3, don't go back to WWE. But then again, maybe don't go to AEW, because remember Dean Ambrose? Well, John Moxley's over there now, and he's all about our final news story for today. Look at that, man. Seamless stuff. Even though Andy Murray's not here, we still try to bring some kind of lovely smoothness to it. But yes, John Moxley has been shooting on violent match critics. This came from an interview with Gary Cassidy of Inside the Ropes. Again, not from Dave Meltzer. Look at that. We just teased you with that one. I should point out as well, Gary's doing some great work over at Inside the Ropes. You should keep tabs on that. Fantastic reporting going on over there. But this basically comes in response to... I don't want to say it's not fair criticism, but a lot of people heard exploding barbed wire match, and understandably were like, what? Because... Yes, I mean, it sounds wild, doesn't it? It sounds absolutely crazy. But we're going to get into this interview, and I love what Moxley says about this. But basically, he's responding to critics. the ilk of the likes of Jim Cornette, who are just like, well, what's it all about? Different things, that doesn't sound good. But basically, the message is very simple. Moxley said, I'd say you probably shouldn't watch the pay-per-view then if you're not into it, and at least turn it off before that match happens, essentially because it's going to be big, it's going to be violent, it's going to be brutal. He goes on to say, it's the good thing about AEW, we've got a little something for everybody, but there's really no way to sugarcoat an exploding barbed wire death match. You're not wrong there, John. He says, so if you want to see it, then don't. If you don't want to see it, then don't watch it. If you think your kid is going to be a little bit too young to watch it, a little bit too violent for them, then don't watch it. You know, just because something's there doesn't mean you have to get all negative on it. You just opt out of it. You can just opt out of it. You don't have to do it. But he did also go on to kind of thank Tony Khan for allowing the wrestlers to push the envelope and, you know, be creative in AEW, which is something he's been desperate for. And this is kind of the end product of that. You know, be careful what you wish for was essentially the message from him. He said, if you want Jon Moxley at level 10, then make sure that is what you really want. And I love that. I love that quote because absolutely, you can't say we want Jon Moxley to be free, we want him to be unscripted, we want him to go and do his thing that he's always been doing, and then when he finally does it, be like, not too much, John, turn it down. I'm all for it. Opt out of this if you're not interested. Mr. Wilborn, what are your thoughts regarding this?
I don't know, it sounds like a sort of Moxley version of that. Is it a Marilyn Monroe quote that you see on people's headers of like, oh, if you can't handle me at my worst, don't want me at my best or whatever. I completely agree.
Picturing Moxley over the vent with his little skirt blowing as he's trying to keep it down.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like, I say morbid fascination a lot when we talk about awful WWE booking, but I am morbidly fascinated by this just because what the hell are they going to do? Two insanely talented wrestlers with, you know, a stipulation that is generally associated with, you know, wrestlers who maybe can't pull off the physicality that they often are able to do. I think it's a really interesting stip. I'm going to be fascinated to watch it in, what is it, a week and a half's time. And yeah, like who'd ever have thought it? If it's not your cup of tea, don't watch it. Like I think there's more of a wrestling buffet in AEW than maybe in other promotions. And I for one will be very excited to watch it. And I couldn't help but feel watching Dynamite this week. There was sort of I compared it to a gunslinger making peace with his like estranged child before the final battle, because I felt like he's writing. Well, we anticipate a retention for Kenny Omega with that AEW World Title, and maybe Moxley going away for a bit because he's going to become a dad, which is fantastic news.
Well, that was the three takeaways I think I've got from this is, one, what is going to happen to Jon Moxley, man, because that guy's going away for a while, isn't he? He's going to become a dad. I think he's probably deserved it at this point after that run with the belt. But something terrible is going to have to happen to him because this is Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley just doesn't die, so you're going to have to do something terrible to him. On top of that, the best content in the world sometimes, as much as I feel for her, is Renee Young, or should we say Renee Paquette now, tweeting alongside her husband's matches in All Elite Wrestling. The sheer horror that she was tweeting during that last match, which obviously a lot of people got divided by, the unsanctioned match. I am excited to watch this match. It was hard to watch the last one, it'll be hard to watch this one, but there's an art form in there, and whether you like it or not,
exactly.
I guess your options are opt in or opt the hell out.
Yeah. All I'll say is please take care of yourself, John, because I don't think Renee wants to be wiping two arses in the next couple of months. Right, let's move on to your Twitter questions. At WhatCulture WWE, Mysterian Jr. starts us off saying, does The Undertaker come out for, not a match, but one last hurrah in front of actual fans at WrestleMania? Well, he says 38, possibly 37 it could well mean. At WrestleMania, basically.
This WrestleMania coming up, essentially. This would not surprise me in the slightest. This would be the most Undertaker thing ever. This would be the most WWE thing ever. Because he just wants that last moment, doesn't he? But you know what it is? I'd like to not see that, personally. I think you should draw the line there. And to be honest, after all those WWE soft comments, you know, like... I mean, I know he's a vet there, so they'll have him any day in the backstage room, but would you be wanting him on the show? I don't know. The younger guys want him there? I don't know.
Yeah, get Timothy Thatcher out. Soft, is it? Okay, we'll see how this is, or Pete Dunne or someone like that. Yes, in a short answer, I think The Undertaker's retirement is a work. So that's all you really need to know about that.
Yes.
He's not
yes,
retiring, is he? He's not retiring. He's going to have a... Never been wrong, exactly. J-Man gives us our second question as says, greetings, you legends. Cheers, Jay, you're a legend as well. Pro wrestling is in such a weird place right now. Variety of content has increased, but the ongoing global bastard has made it lose viewers. Do you think if the world goes back to normal, please God, so will wrestling?
It's a tough one, that, isn't it? Because there's a lot of things that have obviously had to change, and some things we've got out of this period have improved things, I would argue. There are lessons that have been learned during this period. Will it go back to normal? I don't know what. I'll be honest, I can't even remember what normal was anymore. I genuinely can't remember it because it all seems so intense. I hope it does as close to normal as possible. But I also kind of hope we've learned the lessons from this time.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? There's got to be a happy medium there, I think.
I think there will be an element of fans coming back to it because I think of it as me and like football. I don't want to watch anywhere near as much football as I did when there was fans in the stadiums at the moment. So I think maybe there's an element of that when it comes to wrestling. And I think both AEW, WWE, all promotions are going to do some mad stuff once they can get fans back in, and expect WWE to do, I don't know, weekly Legends nights to hopefully boost those numbers back up. So I think there will be a trend upwards, but whether it'll go back to where we were pre-pandemic, who bloody knows. Final question today comes from Jess Owen. Jess says, morning guys, with AEW's pay-per-views being slightly later this year than last and Sting announced for Wales' Comic-Con. Sorry, I don't know what that was.
Oh God.
Wales' Comic-Con? Should I?
No.
On the 20th of November. Could we be getting Full Gear here in the UK?
Well, not anymore. No. I think this was an interesting one to read this because it's something we love, obviously. We wouldn't say no to it at all. And AEW have mentioned the potential of going across to the UK. Whether it's, the gaps there and that immediately means that's the case, probably not, is my gut feeling. I would love to be proven wrong though. But I don't think, even if that doesn't happen, I don't think it would be too long once the world is open again, where they realise actually there's a good market over there and we haven't had a chance to do it. Now is the time because everywhere's open, and imagine the people will be clamouring to go to that event, whatever it may be in the UK.
You talk about kicking people when they're down. When we found out that news last year, was it Fyter Fest they were planning to have in the UK, I think, in 2020? It was one of those.
Something along those
Something
lines,
like that, or maybe Fight for the Fallen. And I just thought, don't tell us that, Tony, because that would have been so good, and we'd have no doubt tried to attend and done loads of stuff alongside. We just want, whether it's AEW, WWE, or any other promotion, if we can get some big shows here in the UK, I think that's the way things are heading because there's such a ripe audience for it here, and particularly for someone like a new and up and coming. I say new and up and coming, they've been going for a while now, but someone like AEW, I can see it happening.
Maybe they've just misheard you here because you want some big shows and they've just went away and signed Paul White. Maybe that was just a miscommunication going on there.
Right, let's move on to today's and finally. I thought we'd just take this opportunity to throw our weight here at WhatCulture Wrestling behind a brilliant new thing that Big E has launched alongside the fantastic Jonathan Davenport, the guy behind New Day's Gear, and DAZN.com editor Andreas Hale. They've launched a new Kickstarter for a new animated series, Our Heroes Rock. It's going to focus on black history through the mediums of hip-hop and science fiction. It sounds fantastic. Please do go and support this Kickstarter. They're already like halfway towards their goal. The hashtag is hashtag Kickstart History. Go to ourheroesrock.org. Donate what you can. We'll be doing it here at WhatCulture. I think it's a fantastic project and very exciting, something like this, Nicholas.
Yeah, really exciting, and it's nice to see that they're getting to do a project like this as well, especially with obviously Big E working with WWE, and we know they can be a bit picky sometimes, but I think just if for no other reason, these are just some good dudes, man. Big E's a great dude. Jonathan Davenport is a really, really good dude. Not only does he design fantastic ring gear, but also just a really nice chap in general. So yeah, this is definitely something you should get behind at 100%.
Yeah, a well-deserved Kickstarter that needs your support. As I say, go to ourheroesrock.org to get behind it. Crowdfunding, basically a pilot focused on the story of Ruby Bridges, the first African-American child to integrate into an elementary school in the South on November the 14th, 1960. It's also going to feature hip-hop artist Rhapsody as the narrator. They're going to hopefully work on a full series pending a successful launch. But as I said, ourheroesrock.org to go and support that fantastic project. But let us know your thoughts on that and all of today's news stories in the comments section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And subscribe to What Culture Wrestling on either iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts from, for daily wrestling podcasts. Myself and the Dadleys previewing SmackDown, and of course, Wrestle Culture Layout with a hashtag Bloody Good Quiz. Plus, you can let us know your thoughts and Twitter questions on Twitter at WhatCultureWWE. And watch there, follow both of us. You can follow Adam Nicholas at
It's Adam Nicholas. You can follow Adam Wilborn at
Adam Wilborn. Follow us all at WhatCultureWWE. But for now, my thanks to Adam Nicholas. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you soon.